Understanding this changed everything for me, and it also made it a lot easier to trust God with the who and the what and the how and the when, because it made it undeniably clear to me that— Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I want to encourage you with the truth that God will give you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. When you want something so deeply, or you've been praying for something so long, it can be really hard to trust God's timing with that thing and to trust His provision. But I want to share with you today an insight from the story of Noah in the Bible that reveals to us so clearly that God gives exactly what we need, exactly when we need it. I'm going to link the Bible reading plan I've been using this year down in the description if you want to check it out. It's completely free, but it had me reading through Genesis 6 earlier this week, which is what reminded me of this incredible insight that I'm going to share in this video. I also want to give the disclaimer that it is raining right now. This is the only time this week I could film, so I'm sorry if you could hear the sound of the rain, but also it's kind of comforting and it goes along with the whole Noah vibes, so God knows what He's doing. But let's go ahead and get into it. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. I make Christian faith and lifestyle content aimed at encouraging you to know God more through His Word and to grow in His likeness. And I would love to have you here. And then give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful or encouraging. So now let's get into our little Genesis 6 Bible study. So to set things up, in Genesis chapters 1 and 2, in the beginning, literally the beginning of the Bible, God creates the heavens and the earth and everything in it. He creates man and woman, male and female, in His image. And then in chapter 3, sin enters into the world. And by the time we get to Genesis 6, we see that sin has really begun to wreak havoc on the world. Here's what it says in Genesis 6, chapter 5. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. That's so crazy the way it's worded there. It says only evil, no good, only evil, and continually. This is what God saw as the state of the human heart. Continuing on in verses 6 and 7, it says, "And the Lord regretted that He had made man on the earth, and it grieved Him to His heart. So the Lord said, I will blot out man whom I have created from the face of the land, man and animals and creeping things and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I have made them." This is really sad. God's saying that it grieved Him that He had created man on the earth. And it says He's now going to blot them out from the face of the earth. And this feels really heavy and really intense and really dark. And it is. If you know the end of the story, you know that after the flood, after God wipes out the earth, He makes a promise never to do this again. And He gives the rainbow as a symbol of this promise, saying that He is going to put the rainbow in the sky. And when He sees the rainbow in the clouds when it's been raining, He's going to remember this promise to never again wipe out the earth with a flood, because He acknowledges, He says, that man's intentions, man's heart is evil from his youth. And so rather than continuing to wipe out humans because our hearts are evil, right here it sets up in this story the need for Jesus, who the whole Bible points to, who would come and die and change our hearts so that they are no longer sinful and evil. And so the story goes to a good place, but before we get to that point, we first have the story of the flood, which is what we're talking about in today's video. So the earth was corrupt, the earth was evil, but it says in Genesis 6:8, Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So God is going to wipe out the earth, but Noah is a righteous man, and so God tells Noah that He is going to preserve Noah, and He gives Noah these instructions to build this ark and to take into the ark him and his wife and his 3 sons and their 3 wives and 2 of every kind of animal, male and female, so that after the flood subsides, they can begin to repopulate the earth. I feel like most people know the gist of this story. It's a really popular Sunday school story, but I feel like we oftentimes tend to skim over the details. Those things in Bible stories like genealogies, or when we get really specific into nitty-gritty of instructions on things and we feel like it doesn't really matter, we just read on over that. Like in this story, the very detailed instructions that God gives Noah on how to build the ark. Have you ever noticed just how detailed those instructions are? Have you ever wondered why those instructions are there? Here's what they are in Genesis 6:14-18. God says to Noah, "Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and out with pitch. This is how you are to make it. The length of the ark 300 cubits, its breadth 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make a roof for the ark and finish it to a cubit above, and set the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. For behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life under heaven. Everything that is on the earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. These instructions are so incredibly specific. God tells Noah what type of materials to use to build the ark. He tells him what the specific exact dimensions of the ark should be. He tells him where the door should go on the ark. He tells him that there should be 3 decks on the ark. God's instructions on building the ark are incredibly specific. A commentary I read on this said, the ark was not designed for beauty or speed, but these dimensions provided extraordinary stability in the tumultuous floodwaters. And this shows us right here that when God builds something, his process of doing so is intentional because he knows the purpose of the thing that he is building and he knows what it will need to withstand. I remember first coming across this insight during my single years and being so encouraged as I was praying for my future husband and my future marriage, because it showed me God knows exactly what you need and what you desire right now, but he also knows exactly what you're going to need and you're going to desire 40 years from now. He knows all the things that you are going to walk through in this life that you couldn't possibly see right now, and he knows who is going to be best suited to walk alongside you. Understanding this changed everything for me, and it also made it a lot easier to trust God with the who and the what and the how and the when, because it made it undeniably clear to me that God knows exactly what he is doing. Whatever you are waiting for or praying for or hoping for, trust that God knows exactly what he is doing. When he builds things and prepares things, he is so intentional in that process because he has foresight that we could never have, to see exactly what is going to happen, exactly what that thing's purpose is, exactly everything that it is going to need to withstand. And so that informs how he builds it, because he knows what the purpose of the thing he is building is. He had that intention in creating you and me, and he has that same intention in preparing whatever it is and everything that is going to unfold in your life. God will give you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. If the thing that you're waiting and hoping and praying for is marriage or a relationship, I want to remind you that I have my Still Single devotional that I wrote during my single years, just speaking the truth and encouragement that I myself needed to hear. And so I'm going to have that linked down below if you want to check it out. But not only does the story of Noah show us that God gives us exactly what we need, it also shows us that God gives it exactly when we need it. God gave Noah the instructions to build the ark in exactly enough time for Noah to be able to complete the ark in time for everybody to go into it before the flood waters started to come. God's timing is precise, and this story also shows us what our job is. Noah's job was obedience. His job was to build the ark. It was to do what God had asked him to do, and God would be the one to make the miraculous happen. God would be the one to make the rain come. I hope this story and the way that it points to the character of who our God is an encouragement to you. I would love to hear from you down in the comments if you have a testimony of a time when God gave you exactly what you needed. A lot of times we see these things in hindsight as we're looking back and we see, oh yeah, God did give me exactly what I needed, exactly when I needed it. And so if you can recall a testimony of a time when God did that, share it in the comments so it can fuel the faith of those reading in their current situations, that even if they can't see it, God is working and preparing and actively building what he is going to bring about in their lives. And it can also encourage you in any current situations, and me as well, to remind us that God gives us what we need when we need it. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.